If there are concerns about the specific election administration in a particular country, where exit polls can help reinforce confidence in the results.
Do you believe that elections of Georgia will be democratic? And in your opinion, what should be done in order that elections of Georgia became as democratic as elections in the United States?
Well, I think we'll have to wait and see what the results of this election are. And as you know, we and many other members of the international community will be observing the elections and providing our input to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe so they can make a consolidated assessment. I don't want to prefigure anything, but I think the things that we are looking at in this campaign period as being especially important are to ensure that there is a climate in which all candidates and all parties feel free and comfortable to campaign effectively. It's important that there not be intimidation of any party or any candidate.
Hello, Mr. Buzz. As you know, there are so many political parties in Georgia, and they are more active, especially for elections. I want to know what the political parties of our country do for elections.
Well, your question is probably better put to those political parties than it is to me. I mean, you've noted that there's quite a big spectrum of political parties here in Georgia, and
there are so many, and they do some activities for elections. But in our life, they are not so active to do some activities or something. And what are the political parties doing in your country in life?
Well, in our country, we have many fewer parties, so they tend to be much more active and organized, and they've both been around for a long time. So that in addition to fielding candidates at the national level, both parties are fairly strong through the state and local levels. And through those local organizations, since we have elected governance down to very localized levels in most parts of the states, there are candidates and elected officials that are on a daily basis interacting with the public about very specific needs like repairing the streets or paving roads or improving the water supply or any of those kinds of things. And so that creates a continuous conversation, if you will, which I think in some respects is a little harder to have when you have such a broad spectrum of parties. But that may reflect why, some parties here do not have a lot of supporters, because there are so many of them.
Thanks.
We know that USA is the most democratic country in the world, and how do you manage to keep democracy and good relations between different countries?
Well, I think we do that first and foremost by making sure that we are talking to all of the other democracies, because there's no substitute for hearing directly from other governments, other people, what their concerns or perspectives are on specific issues. And then we work very hard to make sure that our views on specific issues are well known to those governments and those other societies. And we work really hard to try to identify common ground so that we can work together to address common problems, whether it's terrorism in places like Afghanistan, whether it's global warming, whether it's the financial crisis of 18 months ago. And we find that tends to be a pretty effective way to get things done.
I just want to ask, what are our chances to get to NATO? Just our country is trying so hard, and we're trying to improve our democracy. And you, coming from the country who's, as far as I can remember, example of democracy all the time, what is our chances to be the part of NATO?
Well, the members of the NATO alliance made a commitment to Georgia at the Bucharest summit, and they said that Georgia will be a member of NATO. NATO doesn't normally make those sorts of very declarative statements.